Alright guys, welcome back to some ESO. As you can see today, we are here with the Large Gibbon. This was a fairly easy enclosure. So yeah, let's get into it. I did the thick glass again. Oh, when we go back and take a look at the enclosures, I have to add gabion to the back of this and the back of the carcass. I forgot to do that for both of them. But yeah, so thick glass all the way around. 13 is something feet tall, whatever, so they don't climb out. Um, oh, sorry. I ended up having to actually shrink. Sorry, hold on. Sorry if you hear all this. There you go. I actually had to shrink the enclosure because I was thinking the little bit I left wasn't enough for another enclosure, and that ended up being like way too much space. So I went ahead and I downsized it, which you'll see shortly. We also do the landscaping for around that butterfly exhibit as well in this episode. So I did this real quick just to check it. It's 12,000. I was like, they don't need that much feet at all. So I shrunk it just a little bit, just enough so I still have a decent size area for another enclosure at the end. I don't know what I'm going to do right there yet. We'll figure that out right now. But I just left it a little more open. Sorry, but yeah. I figured that was too much space for them. They don't need that much space. So yeah, I just shrunk it just enough so I could have some room for another enclosure, which I really don't know what I'm going to put there. It has to be something that is fairly small. So, I don't know. We'll kind of filter and look at some stuff, because I mean, there is new animals, as we know. So, I mean, anything that could go right there. We've done all the primates, but there is, what's it called? We could put Asian animals there, and there was that new pack that has a decent amount of Asian animals. So we could do that. So I ended up adding this little just like strip of water along the front. It's just like a real quick thing where I thought, hey, why not? Looks pretty good. I'm so sorry. I'm filming this at like 1 in the morning. So I'm somewhat tired. But yeah, so now we're gonna get into just our terrain painting. So yeah, we're gonna paint it. It's mainly long grass, as we know, so I have to paint almost the whole enclosure. So I start with just heavy soil around the water. It's kind of my go-to now, whenever I do water in enclosures, and if the animal wants soil, I go ahead and I paint a decent amount of soil around the water. It seems to make the animals happy, and it does make the enclosure look a little bit better as well. And then I'm kind of just trying to paint everywhere the best I can to make it short grass. And it worked, so. And then we just immediately hop straight into enrichment. We put a forage box down, which we do end up moving because it's in the way. I do the heaters. I have been forgetting to do them. Which means when winter rolls around in this game, a lot of animals are going to be fucked and I'm going to have to throw in heaters. So, but yeah, so throwing in the rest of the food enrichment real quick, just a couple foraging items here and there. And then, sorry, and then a couple of toy enrichments, just throw them wherever I see fit, and yeah. Enrichment items are nothing crazy, as we all know. They're very simple. We don't have to do too much we don't have to focus on them at all. We can just throw them anywhere. And then we start doing the plants now. I'm adding just a lot of small fern type of plants right there around the water. Just give it a little bit of variety and make it look nice. And then I had 2 of the big kapoke trees or whatever. Lipstick palm in the corner. And then I had a little mangrove apple tree in the corner over here as well. Just have some variety in the enclosures, because I know when I've been doing these primate enclosures, there hasn't been too much variety. It's been a lot of just the kapoke trees and then maybe a fern or 2. So I try to be pretty varied in terms of plants, and I think I did a good job. I think the enclosure overall looks pretty good in terms of foliage, at least. And then I go with like a very simple hard shelter, which I don't know. Hard shelters are hard. Hard shelters are rough though. I just never know what to do. Um, but so I did this kind of like weird thing here, which I thought was gonna be enough. It ended up not being enough. So I extend it. You'll see at the end. I think I do it at the end. I might check it right now. I don't know. I don't remember. I just filmed it and I don't remember what I did. And then I added some bedding on the other side under that tree, just so it looks a little different. Just to give it some like texture on the ground. And then I just add these two platforms, and then I add one a little higher so that they could just climb up to that higher platform from these lower ones, just to give them a little bit of a climbing option on this side. And then on the other side I do kind of like a cool scaling thing, which I thought came out pretty neat. So you'll see right now. So I do one pretty low, sticking out this way, do one up high, sticking out the other way, and then one up high, sticking out the other way again. And it gives it this cool like cascading effect thing, you know? Then I go ahead, I add this, which I do remove later, you'll see. But just adding like ways to get up, you know? Nothing too crazy, just making sure that they can climb up. And then I ultimately went with a ramp because the ramp just looks a little nicer than if I just had another pole right there. So go ahead, do the ramp, boom, just like that. Go up one, and I add a 4-meter log, which is just tall enough, just barely. And then I go ahead and I add a toy up here, just because I thought it would be kind of cool to have a toy up there. So did that, and then I was like, okay, let's take a look. Hard shelter wasn't enough, and their climbable was nowhere near enough. So I go ahead and I just extend the hard shelter back a little bit, brings it up to like, I think it was like 70 something percent, which was enough for me to be like, alright, that's pretty good on the hard shelter, we'll leave it how it is then. But it was also a good thing because the hard shelter also expanded on our climbable area, because I added another platform up there, and then I added a way to cross to the other platform. Initially I did want the two climbable areas separated, but they needed quite a bit more stuff in terms of climbable area. So the platform does help a lot in terms of that. So I add that, and then I go add this little nub so they can climb up because I think it was too high. And then I go and I just add one of these all the way across because I thought it would be the cleanest looking option, and it definitely is. So I just add one of these little climbable things all the way across to the other side, which, I mean, it looks fine still. It's not what I wanted to do at all, but they need more space, climbable space, and again, it does look pretty good. It doesn't look terrible, so I was fairly happy with that. And it does give them like a way to climb over with and they never have to touch the ground, which is cool. So I was trying to keep that little Y branch there, but ultimately couldn't do it. But I do go ahead and I extend those little pegs so that they're going all the way into the ground, so it looks good. This took me a hot minute to do each one too. It legit probably took me like a minute to do each one, just to try to get them in there perfectly. Yeah, it was a very simple little climbable structure, but again, I do think it came out pretty good looking, for the most part at least. There's always room for improvements, but when it comes to me, I feel like this is pretty good for me, at least where I am right now. Yeah, these primates have all been like a test, to see if I can build good climbable structures. And for the most part, I'd say, yeah, I'm pretty confident in my ability to build a solid climbable structure. The only thing I will say that I'm always lacking on is hard shelters. It's the one thing I can't get right. It never feels right. And then when I build things build it with the fucking props and shit, it just doesn't work. So I'm like, well, I don't know what to do there. But yeah, as you can see, climbable's done. They got enough, so I'm like, alright, cool. Leave it how it is then. So we leave all that alone. And then now we're gonna go pop in the education real quick. Couple TVs, couple speakers, you guys know how it goes. It's the usual stuff, nothing crazy. Just a couple TVs, just every pillar, you know? Every part where their vision is already gonna be blocked a little bit, might as well just put something over where the vision is blocked. Add a couple speakers so they could hear about it too, because if they don't hear about it, they get pretty mad. They end up not enjoying enclosures like at all. So do that, boom, good there, and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Delete it. So that's the enclosure done. We'll take a closer look at everything just in just a second. But now this is the part where I was struggling a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was struggling trying to figure out what to do right here. I was trying to avoid using water. I did add 2 cherry blossoms because they just made it look so good. And I'm like, that's fine. I just want as much flowers as I can right here because it's like butterflies, you know. Flowers, they all go together. So I try to do as much flowers as I can right here. And I think I got like, I got out of hand with the flowers. That's why ultimately I added the water, was because there was too many flowers and I had to find a way to fix that. So you'll see right now. But yeah, I tried to avoid water as long as I possibly could. But it looks too good. I mean, there's so much water in this zoo. It's like, I should not be allowed to have this much water if it was real life. But again, adding flowers, too many flowers, it just looks bizarre. This little corner, I couldn't figure out what to do because that palm tree's on the other side. So I absolutely stuffed this corner with these yellow flowers. And I think it looks pretty good. It gives you just like this nice little hedge effect, and it's just solid flowers. So I did like that. And then I added another tree on this side just to give a little more cover. And then I was like, I really like these, I think they're hydrangea. Yeah. I was like, I really like the way these look. So I do add one here and get rid of one of the smaller bushes. And then I do add like a big ass blob of them back here just to kind of hide the staff path and give it a nice look. And then I go ahead and add a little bit more flowers. Well, I tried to, and then I'm like, nope, no more flowers. And then I add a couple of rocks, because I'm like, rocks will make it look a little bit, you know, separated. So I add a couple of tiger rocks, because they're like your standard color of rocks, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to make like a little river thing. So I do that. It sucks too because I can't ever get this to look the way I envision it in my head, you know. But so I do like this little river pond thing, which does come out pretty good. It's not exactly what I envisioned, but I can't really do what I envisioned. So I thought that looked pretty good. I didn't like that jagged edge, so I added like a big ass rock over there naturally. And then another one on top just to give it a little bit of a texture, which I actually should add like a boulder on top of it, but it's alright. A couple more rocks, then I'm like, okay, good there. Let's add some long grass, because the long grass gives it this extra like texture, which makes big areas like this look really good. With flowers and stuff at least. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta fix the river because now there's long grass in the water. So I add some soil around it. And then while I'm adding the soil, I'm like, I could do like a nice little path with this. So you'll see right now I did like this little path around just to give the ground a little more texture. But yeah, let's go take a closer look at it and then figure out what we're gonna put next to these gibbons. But yeah, as you can see that little path there, looks pretty nice. But yeah, let's go take a closer look and figure out what we're gonna do next. Alright, and this is what the little butterfly area looks like. I feel like it came out pretty good with the long grass and the bushes and the cherry blossoms and the other little trees and this little river. I feel like it came out pretty good. Pretty happy with this little section right here. I was worried about it at first, with just being a big ass glass box and everything, but I feel like after adding in these plants, it looks a lot better. I'm pretty happy with it now. Has a nice curb appeal. And then, yeah, this little section right here too, just to... And then see the little soil pathway I did? I feel like that looks really nice. It gives the ground just like an extra texture, you know? I like it a lot. And this is our gibbons. Which you could see basically everything in there from here, which is really nice. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this enclosure. This is the only part I don't like, but it didn't come out bad. I just didn't want to do that. But they needed more climbable space, so what can you do? But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. Nice little enclosure. Cool little butterfly area. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So, real quick, we need to go over to barriers. And we need to go over to GIBBON. And we need to make it climb proof on both sides. We just need to replace this. Oh. Climb proof. Is that climb proof? It's not, right? Oh, and you know what? I do have to change all of this to GIBBON. There we go. Do the same thing over here. Just make all of that GIBBON. Actually, I'm gonna leave that glass right there. Boom. Just gonna do that. I'm gonna leave that glass so they can see it from over there if they want to. Just to give it a little bit extra. But yeah. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with the enclosures. Pretty happy with the whole zoo. But, so now we gotta figure out what goes right here. It's a very little area. It's not little. It's probably like 5,000 square feet. If this is 7. Yeah, it's probably like 5,000. So, we have two options. Well, actually, we have one option because I don't think there's any more, I don't think there's any more, primates. So, we're left with one option. Asian animals. So, there is this guy. I've been eyeballing him for quite a few episodes now. Not a primate, but has like a weird thing, which is cool. They're just weird. They're just weird animals, which is cool. So there's those. There is the Asian water monitor now, but I feel like it's a little too close to the Komodo dragon, which we already have. And that's ultimately the reason I also didn't put in the Nile monitor yet. Did the Cargill. We did these guys. We did the snow leopard. We haven't done a clouded leopard. That's too much space for right here though. We did the doles. I don't want to do the camel. I don't want to do the lynx. I don't want to do the badger. Nothing European. Pandas are for later. Brown bears are for later. Indian stuff is for later. We did the gibbon. Tapir we did. The moose we did. We did those. We did that. We haven't done a red deer. They don't need that much space. We could do a red deer. It'd be a very random animal to have right there. But we could do it. We could do the sand cat. They don't need much space. But they're very little. Can this walk through? No. You're telling me a guest can't walk through there? That's literally just a cat. whatever. There's the striped hyenas as well, but those need a lot of space, I'm pretty sure. I think we're gonna do the sand cat, because the caracal's right on the other side. So I think that could be kind of cool to just have both of them. And it's an African and Asian animal, just like the caracal, which fits what I was doing here, or what I was trying to do, at least. So yeah, we'll do the sand cat right here, and that'll be next episode. That episode will probably be actually really short, to be honest. That enclosure is not going to take long. But, so we'll do the sand cat next, and then after that, in that episode, we'll figure out what to put right here. Right here, we could go with probably a larger animal, so. But yeah, I think that's it. Got the next episode planned. Yeah, I think that's it for right now. So, we're getting closer and closer to possibly being done with this series. At least for a little bit, for a little while. I want to try to do every animal though, so we'll see what happens. We're getting close though to where the zoo's kind of filling up. I mean, I could fill in this whole square though, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of area that I could still use. A lot. We haven't even touched half of this area yet, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of area to work with still. It's just like a creativity thing. In terms of like how far we go. So I don't know. Yeah. This is still very empty, which sucks. I put in a lot of work over here. I mean, you guys saw. This is like 3 episodes. And I used like actual fucking set pieces and shit. But yeah, so we'll do that. And then we gotta figure out what's right here. And then I think we can do the what's it called? The Eastern Asia Plaza. Yeah, the East Asia Plaza, that's what it's called. So, and then we just keep expanding. Like I said, I want to try to do every animal in this one zoo. So we'll see what happens, because I mean, that's gonna take a long time. But we'll see what happens, because I definitely want to try to do all the animals. And as they keep releasing animals, you know, it's giving us more and more content, so. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Planet Zoo. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys want to see on the channel in the future. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Stay safe out there, and peace out, guys.